if godly pastors won't lead their churches, Satan will be happy to. Now, let's apply this to this third institution, the institution of the state. Let me make something, what I hope is obvious to us. If godly people won't lead their nation through voting, if godly people won't lead their nation, godless people will. God, the only people that are left become godless people. This is what the book of Proverbs means when it says this: when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, people groan. Things. Mature Christians do not vote on superficial things. They don't vote on vibes. They don't vote on looks. We shouldn't vote on, he's got the same skin color as me, or she'd be the first woman president, or I've always wanted an orange leader. We don't vote based on whether they give us, they had a delayed reaction around the room. It kind of we don't vote based on whether they give us the warm fuzzies. Why? Because a vote is not a Valentine. So some people, what Christians are doing right now is they'll look at these two candidates and they'll look at them and go, oh, well, I don't like their personality. Hey guys, can I say something? Personalities come and go, policies last a long time. Personalities come and go, policies last a long time. So let me just say this, don't vote for who you like most, vote for who will lead best, because a vote is not a Valentine, okay? Number two, a ballot box is not a mailbox for you to send a message. Hey guys, okay, there's no point in sending a message if nobody is reading it. There's no point in doing that. Let's be very honest. The only thing that people read on election day is who won. That's the only thing people read. So the goal isn't to make a point. The goal is to make a difference. Don't waste your chance to make a difference trying to make a point that nobody gets. Don't do that, okay? Now, number three, a selection is not a sacrament. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings Christians have right now. A selection is not a sacrament. So that's a big churchy word. Here's what a sacrament is. A sacrament, it's a religious ritual like communion or baptism or marriage that it's really important not to let any impurity into. And like I said, what Christians are doing right now is they're looking at our current candidates, and if you have any eyes open, and I'm just gonna say this, I need to be honest with you, any Christian that's got a Bible open and their eyes open and their brain working ought to be looking at both of the candidates we're looking at and going, man, I see some flaws in both things I got in front of me, okay? And what Christians are doing is they're going, well, I just can't vote because there's no candidate I can fully support. And what they're doing is they're thinking that their selection is a sacrament, that somebody's got to be totally pure for them to be able to vote for them. Can I just point this out? I'll only vote for somebody if I can fully support everything about them. Guys, you don't do that with any other choice in your life. The reason you come to this church, you might come to this church and be like, I like the preaching, but the music's a little loud. Or more, probably more likely, I like the music, but the preacher's a little annoying. I never know what he's gonna say. Jesus is not on the ballot, guys. Get over it. Jesus is not on the ballot. Get over it, okay? So, and now, this is, let me go a layer deeper with this. This next part of the sermon, I need to teach you about this. It might be the most important part of the sermon. So here's how you need to think about leaders. In the Bible, there's three types of leaders. He tolerated some forms of idol worship in his nation. He let golden calves be worshiped in Israel. He let this happen, okay? So these three types of leaders exist: Josiah's, Ahab's, and Jezebel's, and Jehu's. Now, let me say two things on this. Number one, don't treat a Jehu like a Josiah. Do not ignore imperfections. Don't do that. But number two, we all want a King Josiah. But sometimes God uses a flawed leader for good purposes. And when you don't have the option of voting for a Josiah and your choice is between Ahab and Jezebel and Jehu, that choice is very obvious, because a flawed leader used to do some good things is better than suffering under wicked leaders. It's better, okay? So we need to, now here's the question, okay? Here's the next question. So if that's what voting's not, what is voting? And I want you to see this. Voting it's your power to pick the best available path forward. That's what a vote is. Voting is your power to pick the best available path forward.